Hey, do you need wallpaper? Go to wallpaperboulevard.com. Give them my name, tell them Spencer Colgan sent you, and they'll be sure to give you 10% off at checkout. Check it out. Tell them I said hello. They have a tremendous selection. Don't shop anywhere else until you've checked out www.wallpaperboulevard.com. Getting started painting your base trim. This is a 3M hand masker. Unfortunately, they don't pay me to advertise their hand masker. But when somebody else comes out with one, I'll advertise the tool, not the company. So you roll the masking paper off of this machine. You roll it off by pulling on the tape, which is affixed to the masking paper. And what you get is a piece of masking paper that has a squarely affixed piece of tape to it, simply by the mechanism that runs the tape onto the paper as it comes out off of the roll. And then you have that. So, no brainer there. Now, if you're starting up a project again the next day or the next week or whatever, a lot of do-it-yourself painters out there, you want to stir your paint, moving the paint on the bottom of the can up to the top by making your paddle sweep across the bottom and pull it up. And you do that repeatedly. I like to go with 50 times. You count 50. If you just shake the can, it's really not enough because there's a lot of coagulated material at the bottom. And if you just tap it, you can hear the difference between when you first open the can and after you stir it. If you're hearing this, you've done a good job stirring it. Okay. Now, on my last video, I spoke about protecting the filaments by making the filaments damp. I also inserted into that video an optional procedure of putting tape right above the barrel so as to prevent getting paint stuck onto that part of the filaments. So I forgot to do this before the last frame. So here's what we're doing. We want to keep the paint off of the floor, right? So I like to get the tape right up against the trim. But you and I both know where there is grout, there is a breach in the seal. See how it goes down there? And when there's a breach, you're going to have a bleeding of the paint underneath the tape. Okay, here's my grout line. I have a breach here. Let's look close and be honest with each other, okay? So to avoid that problem, I take clear caulk, and I clog the seal where tape and trim meet. And because the caulk gun skips, you want to take a wet finger and drag it across the application several times to make sure you've sealed the point at which tape and trim meet. So now let's get to painting the trim. Okay, let's start over here, right? Wrong. Let's start over here, right? Wrong. Let's start right in the middle. Oh, it's an angle sash. He's got the forward edge against the floor. Mechanical advice number 1. Now, I had a woman comment negatively on me within the last year or so. I think from the UK. I get a lot of negative press in the UK. She says, "You know better than a DIYer. You dip out of the tin, they call them, the can." Well, I didn't respond because they say it's a lack of virtue if you respond right away to someone who is what they call in the USA a pain in the... Hold on a second. Okay. What was I saying? So, I make videos, okay? I don't have props. I have a dip bucket, but I choose not to use it sometimes because that's a prop. I can dip from the tin if I want. The point of this video is the mechanics of the paintbrush and some tips and tricks on how to get it done right. Now, there was a wallpaper hanger who put tape on this wallpaper. Now, I didn't do that. I actually don't know how they got ripped, but it's getting replaced anyhow. So let me show you, with the assistance of a helper, how I'm going to do this. Okay, so I'm back about 2 minutes later. I just did this another pass. I just didn't want to bore you with taking another minute. It took me about another minute to do it. But I just wanted to show you the benefits of just taking your time and doing it right, okay? Now, I'm just filling in the board piece of this. Watch now, hold on. Okay, I go up to the corner, put in the corner, and I pull about a foot away. Pull. Okay, one direction, same pressure, look, just pull it. I put a mark there, and I'm coming back, and I'm not gonna pass this point here. Watch this. I get to that point and I lift the brush just to feather in where the two strokes meet. I go down to the bottom. Look at this. Watch the brush lift off. See that? So I don't have lap marks there. Okay, I come over here. Do it again. Got another mark there. Go over that top. Go over that top. Now lift off where the lap mark is. Lift off. Lift off. Go over to it again and lift off. See how I'm lifting off right where the mark is? The reason for that is, first of all, we went in this direction for this section because this is in the way. Over here I went back and forth, but I finished it off from here to there. And then I came over here, went back and forth here, but I finished it off going one direction so that my whole trim will be mostly in one direction and the whole thing will be drying at the same time because I'm keeping what's called a wet edge. In other words, I'm not letting this dry, coming back after lunch and let's go, let's start again. No, you want to keep it wet. Continue on and on. Now let's take the tape off.